Well, hello again, and this week again there's not that much to report. There is something, so it's worth doing a video for. So, well, actually there's two things it's probably worth doing a video for, and I'll include both in this video. Let's just set the timer. Don't want to have to join it up. So, we finally have a timeline for the UAP part of Luna's task force on the declassification of federal secrets. I'll just call it Luna's declassification task force. It's a lot easier, isn't it? So we've actually got a timeline for the UAP part of it. I hadn't heard anything about this. You know, they were looking into Kennedy's assassination and MLK, and I thought they've been told there's nothing to it. You know, so they're not going to bother with it. Apparently, they are going to bother with it. I know to even suggest that I could be wrong is preposterous, but it would appear that is the case, and they are going to look at it. So, the disappointing part is that, you know, David Grusch and Elizondo are going to be involved. Hopefully, they will be asked to put up or shut up. Hopefully this is what Luna has in mind. You know, you got these, Grusch was peddling all this rubbish, Elizondo showing pictures of chandeliers. So hopefully, you know, Luna's going to say to them, it's time to put up or shut up. We're going to have a, so this is the timeline. We're going to have a on the 29th of April, which is not long, is it? Next week, the week after, they're going to have a skiff brief with the UAP experts. Now, of course, any of these UAP experts can go and talk to Arrow any time. They don't need a skiff. I've spoken about that before. This is a delaying tactic on their part, so that they can. They've got to come up with something they can say that they know, because they know it's going to be checked out. They've got to be very careful about what they say. UAP, of course, doesn't mean alien spacecraft. You know, I've said this before. We're not interested in UAPs. You see something in the sky, you don't know what it is. It's a UAP. You know, they're real. Doesn't mean it's an alien spacecraft. It should be ET specific. So, so hopefully there'll be some other professional piffle peddlers that will be subpoenaed as well. If they're not voluntarily going to go along, be good to see Hal Putoff and Jay Stratton. You know, Jay Stratton and Hal Putoff have been saying they've been dealing with ET materials. Although Hal Putoff has backpedaled on that recently, because I suspect he knows he's going to get subpoenaed, or he may get subpoenaed, and he's not going to be able to say, here's some tangible evidence, I can take you and show you this stuff, because it's nonsense. Putoff knows it's nonsense, Stratton knows it's nonsense, Elizondo knows it's nonsense, Grusch knows it's nonsense. So, on the 29th of April, they're in a skiff, so hopefully in this skiff will be Luna, Burleson, Grusch, Elizondo, as many piffle peddlers as possible, and Arrow. Got to get Arrow in there, because Arrow can take notes and check out what they're saying. And Arrow will produce a report that will be presented to Luna, presumably, from this. Although they are going to have a congressional hearing on it again on the 30th of April, 1st of May. That's part of the timeline. Now, SCIF stands for Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility. You know, so you can go in there and it's compartmented. You know, no one else knows. It's a little group of people in a room. That's a SCIF, and I've seen it spelt SKIF. Although compartmented, when I went to school, was spelt with a C. I mean, if they can't even spell skiff, what chance have they got of getting to the bottom of this? You know, as I've said, the piffle peddlers don't need a skiff. They can go and talk to Arrow any time. Arrow is cleared to hear any testimony, to look at any program, to look into any compartment. they won't talk to Arrow because they know as soon as they do, Arrow will check out what they're saying and it will be revealed to be complete and utter rubbish. So, what was the other date? There was another date here. There was the 29th of April. Yep. On the 30th of April. Okay. They're going to have a round table with experts. Okay, so the 29th they're going to have the skiff. On the 30th, while it's all fresh in their minds, they're going to have a round table. With experts. Let's hope these experts don't include Travis Taylor and Jay Stratton. I'm an alien invasion expert. That's how many alien invasions have you thwarted, Dr. Taylor? Well, there was... and let's not forget, we can fight a guerrilla war with aliens. Clueless. Jay Stratton, followed home by Bolverine werewolf, fictional scary monster from Skinwalker Ranch, which is drivel in itself. So it'd be interesting to see who these UAP experts are. Again, UAP doesn't mean alien spacecraft. So on the 12th of May, so we're not talking long, I mean it's less than a month, isn't it? What's it? It's the 19th of April today, Saturday the 19th of April, and it's 5 to 10 in the morning for anyone that's interested here in Western Australia. So on the 12th of May they're going to have a full committee hearing on UAPs. Again, it should be on ET. Is ET coming here? Is ET crashing here? Do we have any extraterrestrial, biological or technological samples? You know, forget about UAPs. UAP clouds the issue. There will always be UAPs that have been detected by military systems and how they do it. And, you know, it's going to be sensitive information. Doesn't mean it's an alien spacecraft. Get UAPs out of the picture. So UAP is the wrong subject. Extraterrestrials is what we want to know about. We couldn't care less about UAPs. Well, I couldn't anyway. I want to know if there's any tangible evidence of ETs visiting this planet. So far, there isn't any, is there? There is zero tangible evidence to support one of these visiting ET, crashing ET stories. That's all they are, stories. Okay, so hopefully Luna is going to be asking all of these clowns to provide tangible evidence of what they're saying. If they're saying they've been working on recovered alien spacecraft, tangible evidence required that can be peer-reviewed by a few respected universities and verified to be extraterrestrial. Luna has said she's not interested in stories. Let's hope she sticks to her guns. And let's hope this really is put up or shut up time. You know, because it's Arrow saying Grusch won't come in, Grusch is saying Arrow won't talk to him. You know, it's get them all in the same place at the same time and there's no argument about what's being said. And hopefully this nonsense, which is what it is, can be put to bed once and for all. And all these people that are milking the gullible will have to go and get real jobs. Grusch will have to go back to selling real estate. You know, goodness knows what Elizondo will go back to doing. Interrogating people as a private contractor, probably with his telekinesis. People believe this drivel. So, let's hope this is finally put up or shut up time. Put up or STFU. I've said it before. This needs to be demanded of these people that are milking the gullible. Okay, so I've actually written bullshitting clowns instead of piffle peddlers this time because I'm getting fed up with it. And that's what they are. They're bullshitting clowns. There's nothing to any of this. If there was, they wouldn't run away from Arrow. They'd all be queuing up at Arrow's door to get their stories verified. They're running away and hiding under the table. They won't talk to Arrow. Hopefully this will force them to talk to Arrow. In the presence, with a bit of luck, of Luna and others, Burleson and others. So there'll be no ambiguity about who said what, where, when, how. You've seen alien spacecraft put off? Stratton? Show us. Show us some tangible evidence. Take us and show us this stuff. Stratton says, I know the addresses where all this material's being kept. Okay. Mr. Stratton, you take us there and you show us this stuff. And we would like samples that can be independently verified by several respected universities as being extraterrestrial material. That's the sort of thing that's required. It's simple enough, isn't it? There's all this hiding under the table. Oh, we can't talk to them because of this, that and the other, you know. Grusch is saying that, you know, he's obviously not being truthful, is he? You know, that, you know, Arrow have been trying to get him to go in and talk to them, and he's saying that they won't talk to him. You know, Arrow have actually publicly stated, a public statement, that they tried to get Grusch in on a number of occasions. They even said they would go to him. He arranged an appointment and never turned up. You know, and they published that. So I think what will happen is, at the end of this, Arrow will look into what they've been told, and they'll repeat what Sean Kirkpatrick, the previous director, said. You know, he said it's just a bunch of... It's a lot of science fiction rubbish that's being perpetuated by a core of science fiction piffle peddlers. Bullshitting clowns, if you like. And that's all it is. There is no substance to it. There is no evidence to support any of it. And I suspect John Kozlowski, the new director of Arrow, will come forward and say exactly the same thing. They'll probably do a report and publish it, saying exactly what Sean Kirkpatrick said, because none of these people are going to be able to provide a scrap of tangible evidence to show ET is coming here, or ET is crashing here, or we've got recovered alien spacecraft. You know, some of these people have been pushing this rubbish for decades. They've been making a good living out of it, you know. Getting investment money for researching exotic propulsion, you know. Yeah, it's all nonsense. It's like the free energy scams, you know. It's lots of money going in, and they'll produce a few theatrical props, you know, like a laser or something, you know. People put more money into the pot, and all they're doing is living off the money. There's no way they're working on advanced propulsion. We're not seeing it, are we? You know, Musk isn't using it. Musk could afford to buy any technology that's available, and even some that isn't. I'm sure he said to someone, look, I'll give you 10 million for this, you know, 100 million. You know, they're going to take it, aren't they? You know. SpaceX is using chemical rockets because there is nothing available that's better. There's nothing around that's better. If there was, he would be using it. He's got some very smart people at SpaceX, you know. If this stuff was around, his people would be involved in analysing it. So there we are. This is what I'm fully expecting to come from this, when did I say it was? 20th of May. By the end of May, anyway. By the end of May, they're going to have this congressional hearing. You know, all these hearings are a waste of time, really. I can't tell you this and I can't tell you that. They need to get past that. You know, the skiff will do that. There won't be any more excuses. You know, as I've said before, they don't need a skiff to talk to Arrow, but they don't want to talk to Arrow. There has to be a very good reason for that. There has to be a very good reason for them not wanting their story verified by Arrow, and that reason is it's all rubbish. Absolute rubbish. So we should know by the end of May. And as I've said, you know, they should subpoena Stratton. He's been making statements like, you know, I know the addresses where this stuff is being kept. Gary Nolan has said the same thing. Okay, subpoena them, get them in there, note the addresses, and then go there with them. and check it out. They know the addresses, you know. Subpoena Coulthart, Ross Coulthart, and say, okay, you know where there's this huge spaceship that's crashed outside of the USA, so big they couldn't move it, they put a building over it. Tell us exactly where that is so we can go and check it out. This is the sort of thing that needs to happen. And none of these piffle peddlers will want any of that to happen, because they know as soon as they do, it all evaporates. All their science fiction nonsense goes away. The book sales go away. You know, the TV shows go away. The talk circuit goes away. I saw Unidentified with Lou Elizondo interviewing Alex Dietrich. That was seriously embarrassing. She's in silhouette, and of course everybody knows it's Alex Dietrich. They probably didn't at the time. When she was telling Mick West about that encounter with the Tic Tac, she said she only saw it, her whole encounter lasted about 10 seconds. And David Fravor said, what was it? It was 10 minutes or something. So it was slightly different for David Fravor. He was chasing this balloon around because it was stationary. You know, he's in a very fast jet. He thinks the balloon is doing all these super manoeuvres. I think what they should do is just get a balloon, you know, fill it with the gas so it will stop at a certain altitude, just remain pretty stationary, just drift with the wind, and get fighter planes to fly around it and see how spectacular the movements of the balloon look to the guys flying the planes. That's what they should do, because that's what they saw. Lighter-than-air surveillance vehicle launched from a submarine. Alex Dietrich perfectly described a submerging submarine, you know, the roiling water and the clouds of mist. That's exactly what happens when a submarine submerges, you know. As the water flows into the tanks, it compresses the air in the tanks and water vapour comes out of the vents. She described it perfectly. That's what she saw. And there's probably many times when, you know, a man has described an experience as lasting 10 minutes and a woman involved in the same experience has explained it as lasting for 10 seconds. That's probably not uncommon. Anyway, moving on. Apparently Greer, I can't, you know, every time I say his name I cringe. I haven't got a bucket handy, you know, just in case I feel the urge to throw up. It gets people to fly Cessnas around and throw flares out the window, gets drones to fly around. That'd be $5,000, please. See, I've summoned, using my CE5 protocol, I've summoned these alien spacecraft. You know, they're interested in being summoned by me after flying across the galaxy, light years across the galaxy. They're not very interested in doing the last 200 metres, though, you know, the last 4 miles, and come and land over there so we can get some good shots of the spacecraft. All we can see is lights, bright lights in the distance. You know, it's a lot like Jake Barber's bullshit. And I think Ross Coulthart said, oh, you know, we said these witnesses were going to come, new witnesses were going to come forward, and Jake Barber's come forward recently. And I thought, and it's another load of rubbish. It's very obviously rubbish, you know. So Greer is furious that he hasn't been invited to take part in this this congressional hearing. Elizondo and Grusch are going to be there. Greer is not, and he's livid. He thinks he's earned, he doesn't think he's earned enough out of this nonsense over the last few decades with the science fiction stories and his fake alien spacecraft nonsense. So it looks like everybody and his dog's finally woken up to the fact that Greer is a bullshitter. And they'll wake up to the fact that all these other people are bullshitters as well as soon as this hearing goes ahead and Arrow produces a report, a summary of what actually went on, what they've looked into, what was claimed, what they've investigated and what they found. It's not even a bold prediction. I can guarantee that's what's going to happen. The Arrow report will say it's all science fiction rubbish. It will echo the report published by Sean Kirkpatrick, the previous director of Arrow, 2 years ago or whenever it was. If there was anything to this, how many times do I have to say it? They will be queuing up at Arrow's door to get their stories verified, get their Nobel Prizes, you know. Who was it saying? Was it that bloody hogwash saying receiving signals from space with pictures? You know, it's drivel, it's complete rubbish. That guy reckons he makes science films. He makes science fiction rubbish for clickbait for Google ad money, you know. If that was true, someone would have got a Nobel Prize for it. These academics would kill their mothers to get a Nobel Prize. If someone had picked up signals from space and it was verified to be a signal from space that was modulated, it had information on it or it had pictures on it, well, whatever, it was a synthetically structured signal, they would get a Nobel Prize. These academics would kill each other to get that. It doesn't exist. It's nonsense. I saw Nick Pope was interviewed and he told a story. This is hardly worth repeating really, but I'll do it. He told a story that he was told when he was at the desk, you know, doing the UFO things in UK. See, because the UK Parliament has got no idea what these departments are doing, they verified that he used to investigate UFOs, and they'd probably seen that on the internet. That's why they verified it. But what he used to do was sit at a desk and take reports. Now he's the MOD's Fox Mulder. He used to go out doing field investigations. So he was told a story by a woman that he got to know quite well. So obviously she's telling him lots of these stories, you know. It's about an alien, what they thought was an alien spacecraft hovered above some people, you know, and they all formed a perfect circle. There was another occasion where 100 aliens went into a stationery shop and they bought one pencil each and handed over a £100 note and didn't understand that they were being offered change. I suppose a stationery shop would actually stock 100 pencils, wouldn't they? Can you imagine a line of 100 aliens, 100 people? They look like ordinary people, surprisingly enough. Pencil, please. Yes, that'll be so-and-so, so-and-so. Pencil, please. Now, for a start, they're going to have to get to the 100th person before the person hands over the £100 note. Is the shopkeeper going to wear that? All these people walking out with pencils without paying? What does the first one say? We want 100 pencils. Here's 100 quid. It's bullshit. Drivel, isn't it? It's complete and utter nonsense. Does this story appear in any of his books? Has he told this story before? Is this just something he's made up to get his face back on the TV and keep himself relevant in the UFO business? If relevant is the right word. Yeah, bullshit anyway. Complete and utter rubbish. Oh, what's happened? What's happened? Have I got some pages missing? I've missed a page. Yeah, so the not understanding money is lifted straight from Star Trek, of course. You know, Captain Kirk, we don't use money. You know, Spock, of course, used far too much LDS in the 60s and was as fruity as a nutcake, according to Captain Kirk. Okay, so very quickly, a bit of science fact. Professor Niku Mahudasson, who is at the Cambridge University Institute of Astronomy. He's a real professor, you know, he's not a fake professor, a wannabe professor. Yes! Like bloody hogwash. This guy is a real scientist. He's been getting some time on the James Webb Space Telescope. Now, I did mention this last year, and they found some evidence of some gases in a planet 124 light years away. Now, it's called K2-18b. It's orbiting a little red dwarf star, and he's found. Now, just as an aside, Voyager would take about 1 million years at its current velocity to get to this planet. That's how far away it is, 124 light years, okay? It would take 78,000 years to get to Proxima b, and it would take about 1 million years to get to K2-18b. So they're coming here all the time. Anyway, he's found evidence of two gases, dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide, which on Earth, in the atmosphere, you know, they spectrally analyse the light from the star as it passes through the atmosphere of the planet. And they found these two chemicals. Now on Earth, they're exclusively produced by life, by plankton in the oceans, as opposed to the science fiction stories that are produced by planks all over the place. So he's 97% sure that there's going to be life there, plankton. But he can't call it. He can't say we found life beyond Earth without more evidence. This is what real scientists do, They don't make all these wild claims. He's saying he can't call it, but it's looking pretty good. So they're going to do some more observations, get some more data. There is a problem with this. This dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide have also been found on a lifeless asteroid. But he says the quantities found on K2-18b are huge. It suggests an ocean with a lot of plankton, basically, is what he's saying. So it'd be good actually if the JWST found a planet that had signatures in the planet's atmosphere that could not be produced by anything other than technology. That would be a completely different ballgame. As monumental as life beyond Earth, even if it's only plankton, is, if they found a planet out there that had technology, there was no ambiguity there, these gases in the atmosphere can only be synthetically produced by technology, then that's alien life, the sort of alien life we're interested in. Moss and pond life and all that sort of stuff. As monumental as a discovery as that would be, is still not terribly exciting for everybody, the average person. They want to see aliens out there. So that would be really good if they could do that. That would be astonishing. Personally, I think that technological aliens have to be out there. I mean, nature doesn't usually do things for nothing, does it? You can have a whole galaxy full of just dead rocks. Doesn't make much sense. I think there's going to be life out there somewhere. Intelligent life, technological life. That doesn't mean I think it's been here. I haven't seen any evidence to show, any tangible evidence to support ET coming here, crashing here, landing here. If I do, I'll happily accept it. Finding a techno signature is the holy grail, really. Forget all these claims by these stupid bloody wannabe plastic professors saying that they know it's out there, just not telling you. It's drivel. It will be so monumental. They'd kill their colleagues to get a Nobel Prize for that, if that was real. So, finding a techno signature, that would be fantastic. We haven't seen a techno signature. Regardless of what any of these bloody clowns may tell you, we have not detected a techno signature. You may notice I've finished fixing up the steps. I've painted the actual steps dark brown. I don't know if you can tell. The sides and the handles are black. They were supposed to be dark brown, but the paint turned out to be black. And I can't be bothered to paint the whole thing again. So I've got black handrails. This is the most exciting news of the whole video. And dark brown steps. And that looks plenty good enough. That's how it's staying. There's two staircases here. I'm not painting them both again. And that's that. Okay, well, if you've struggled through the video all the way to this point, many thanks for watching as always, and no doubt in a month's time I'll be on here gloating about how right I was about Arrow producing a report saying it's all science fiction rubbish after they've had their skiffs and talked to these people and seen Luna and Grusch and all these other bloody clowns. I'll be here, you can guarantee I'll be here having a good gloat. Thanks for watching, maybe I'll catch you again.